Welcome back, guys, to Season 2 of The Reformed Athlete. I am so happy that you're here. The Reformed Athlete is an opportunity for me to mentor my younger self while also speaking to my future self. This podcast is an opportunity for me to take all of the lessons that I have learned about athleticism since becoming a coach in life after sport, and hopefully a youth athlete hears this and is able to learn all of the things that I so desperately wish that I could tell my younger self, while an older athlete is able to take these lessons and apply it to their own life, knowing that it's not too late to be an athlete, but you can be a lifelong athlete. That part is very important. This podcast is an opportunity for me to seize the current moment by taking the lessons of the past and combining it into the best version of the future so that I can live my life as a lifelong athlete. Welcome back to day 2 of my 10-day series for kicking off season 2 of The Reformed Athlete. Today, we're going to talk all about the mindset, the champion mindset, the mentality that you need to achieve everything we talked about on day 1. If you guys have not watched day 1 yet, go ahead, watch day 1 because you're going to want to watch that before you get into this episode. Day 1 is all about the strategy. I told you exactly how to make 2025 the year of the athlete from beginning to end. For a quick review, step 1, you have to redefine what it means to be an athlete in your post-athletic world. You guys have to now define athlete in a way that actually fits your life now. After you do that, you can then decide in step 2 what actual physical measurements of this athleticism is going to look like for you. So what memories, what experiences, what opportunities are you going to be able to take now that you've defined athleticism in your life as somebody that is retired from competitive athletics, and what that can look like so that you can have exciting training goals, that you can be like, okay, I know I'm an athlete when I do this. I know I'm an athlete when I can train for X, Y, and Z. Now you're going to take step 2 and move into step 3, which is to map it out on a calendar. Let's figure out which season of your life you're going to be focusing on which idea. Are you going to be training for a 5K? Are you going to be training for a Spartan race? Are you going to be training for signing up for that boxing class that you've been too intimidated to sign up for? You get to decide what your focus is going to be on depending on your season of life, and then you're going to take step 3, your mapped out goals for the year, and you are going to get into step 4, which is reverse engineering all of your goals to figure out what your training needs to include for that season of your life. If you're training for a 5K, that's going to look way different than if you're training to max out your squat PR. You guys can see how those trainings would be different, what elements need to be included, what elements need to be prioritized. I go over all of that in step 4 in day 1, so go back and watch that now, and allow me to now introduce step 5, which is getting ahead of the moments when you're not gonna want to show up. I think maybe the biggest challenge that every single person, not even just former athletes, but every single person struggles with on their fitness journey is they go through periods where they're like, oh, I just don't really want to. I'm just not feeling it. I'm tired. I don't know. I'm feeling lazy today. I'm just not as excited about this as I used to be. This is so common. Mind you, if you're experiencing this or if you've experienced this before, you're not broken. You're not unique. You're not special. Everybody goes through this, myself included. A current competitive athlete and strength and conditioning coach, yes, I go through this too. Because humans like shiny little objects. We like new. We like exciting. We like to work towards something that sparks an interest in us. And the thing is, when you start to train for something for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, the spark kind of dies down a little bit. You're not quite as excited as maybe you were at one point in time, because it's not like new, sexy, exciting anymore. So there comes a point when monotony starts to take over. And we can do a lot to avoid that. That's one of the things I prioritize in the training with my clients, is I never want it to feel monotonous. That's why we do typically about 4-week phases to focus on specific adaptations before we start to mix things up a little bit. You need to figure out mentally how to get through these moments because they will occur no matter what, and that's what we're focusing on today, okay? So the next time that you are feeling lazy, unmotivated, your alarm goes off at 6 a.m., you press snooze once, you press snooze twice, you've now pressed snooze 3 times, you've missed your workout window, and you're going, God damn it, not again. How do I always get to this point in my workout program where I just keep pressing snooze, I skip my workout, I get lazy? Why does this keep happening to me? Why am I broken? Why am I a failure? Blah, 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 blah. All of the limiting beliefs come flooding on in. Well, my friend, there's a couple of ways that we can avoid this. The very first thing that you're going to do is make sure that your training reason, your training why, your goal, if you will, is in big, bright, bold letters everywhere it can be. A lot of people say this, a lot of coaches say this, a lot of self-development people say this, but it can't really be overstated. writing down your goal and having it in big letters somewhere where you are frequently seeing it is genuinely going to keep you on track so much more than if you did not have that, okay? What it forces you to do is consolidate your reason, consolidates your why. It tells you, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not easy. It's not always something that I want to be doing necessarily, but it does mean a lot to me. The long-term goal does mean more than the immediate gratification. So reminding yourself that is step one to getting past this resistance block that you have up. Some places that might be convenient to put this big bold writing in, one of them is your lock screen on your phone. I made a 2025 bingo card to set up my goals for the year, and that is my phone screen. That is my background. So every time I look at my phone, I want to check the time, I get a text, whatever it is, the background is my bingo board to remind me everything that I'm working towards this year. And you could do the same thing. My boyfriend does the same thing. I know some of my clients do the same thing. Constantly remind yourself what you're working towards and constantly remind yourself of your goals, because that reminder, that keeping it in your immediate forefront, in your attention all of the time, actually does do a giant service for keeping you locked in and motivated on what it is that you're trying to achieve. Another place you can put it is on your refrigerator. Every time you walk in the kitchen, get yourself a little healthy snack because you're a healthy little gal now, you are going to remember, oh yeah, I forgot, I'm training for a 5K right now. I gotta make sure I eat some carbs right now or I'm not gonna have energy for my run tomorrow. Or, oh shoot, I totally forgot that the Spartan race is coming up. I need to eat protein so that I'm actually building my muscles so that I can get past the monkey bars during this obstacle because I'm intimidated by that. So that's a great place to keep that reminder because it keeps you locked in on your goals. And notice, we'll get into this another time, but notice nothing I just said restricted you from eating. It just guided you into the decisions that are gonna make your body feel the best. That's important. And another place you could put this reminder, these big bold letters, is on your bathroom mirror. A very, very common place to put letters, to put notices, to put reminders, because at least twice a day, you're going to be brushing your teeth in the morning, you're going to be brushing your teeth in the evening. It's a reminder first thing in the day of what you're working towards, and it's a reminder last thing in the evening of what you want to achieve. Surrounding yourself by this messaging throughout the day is a really, really great idea. I recommend it. It's one of those steps that I always hear people talk about, and I myself always skip. So this is me telling you right now, this is one of the first years where I put my goals somewhere where I would actually see them. On my phone background, I have it on my front door when I leave the house. This is a great idea. It keeps me way more locked in than if it wasn't there. I was a hypocrite all before this year because I wasn't doing it before this year, and now I'm doing it and I'm already seeing the benefits, and it's only been 3 weeks. So it's important, guys. I 10 out of 10 recommend it. The next thing that I want you to do after you figure out the best place that you can put this big bold writing so that it's always in your face is to remember the concept that time's going to pass anyway. This concept gives me a lot of peace personally because there's a point when you want to start to fall off your workout program because you're not seeing results fast enough. You kind of wish you were adapting quicker. You're not thrilled with the excitement of the program, as I mentioned earlier, because it's not as, in your face. You're not like, wow, my biceps grew an inch overnight, or whatever your goals are. You don't get that immediate gratification. So sometimes you get a little bored, and you think that you're not really making all that much progress. Plus, a lot of athletes have this little voice in their head that always tells them they're not doing enough, and when you have a smart program, sometimes you feel like you're not doing enough, but it's actually the most efficient way to your goals. So, with all of that being said, the time's gonna pass anyway theory is, if you signed up for a 5K that you're training for the next 2 months. It's on April 2nd, and you have all of February and all of March to train for it. April 2nd is going to come one way or the other. It's going to happen. That's just how time works. So you can either do the run that you didn't want to do, that you set your alarm for early and you snoozed on. You can either not press snooze and get your run done, or you can press snooze and not get your run done. And if 80% of the time you're skipping your runs, April 2nd is going to come anyway. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm so unprepared. I'm not ready to run a 5K. I didn't train. What is wrong with me? Why am I so anxious right now? This is not a positive experience at all. You don't want that. You don't want that. Rather, what you can do is remind yourself when the alarm goes off in the morning and you know you're going to hit a run and it's the longest run you've done in a while and you're a little nervous and you're a little anxious and you're kind of like, oh, I'd rather stay in bed. What you need to remind yourself is, April 2nd's coming. Whether I do my run today or not, April 2nd is coming. And I can be prepared and I can have an incredibly positive experience and look back at this training experience and go, damn, I did that. Cross the line at the 5K finish line and go, damn, I did that. Or you can go, wow, I failed myself and I didn't show up for myself. So you get to choose which experience you want, because one way or the other, the time's going to pass. So you can spend that time being productive and working towards your goals, or you can spend that time going, I don't know, whatever, I'll do it tomorrow. Ugh. The phrase that kills all progress. I'll do it tomorrow. I do it all the time. So this is a really good opportunity to practice knowing that write your goal everywhere so you know what you're working towards, and the time's going to pass anyway, so you may as well make the progress. All right? The next thing that I want you to do is get comfortable conversing with your future self. I talked about that this week in my team huddle in Athletic AF. It's my 6-month group coaching program. Every single Monday we have a team huddle. We game plan the week ahead, and I get a little bit of coaching wisdom to all the athletes inside. So we talked about the concept of talking to your future self. It's 7 a.m. You don't want to go for this run. We're going to stick with the same example. You have a decision to make. You're either going to get up and go for the run, or you're going to snooze your alarm and you're going to miss your window. Now, when lunch rolls around, you get to reflect back on your morning in one of two ways. You get to reflect back on your morning going, wow, I've had so much energy today because I went for that run and I'm really proud of myself for that. And I feel like I grew some trust in myself today because I said I was going to do it and I did it, and I'm really proud of myself. And even though I didn't want to, I still showed up for myself. Wow, I must really care about myself and love myself. That's way one. Or way two is you go, it's 12 o'clock. My energy's crashing. I don't feel good about myself because I skipped my run this morning, and I wish I did it, but I didn't, and I gave in to the comfort and to the immediate gratification of staying in bed a little bit longer, and now I kind of feel crappy about myself because I did not follow through on the promise that I made to myself. So, you can see the difference between these two experiences. In one of them, future you is going, damn right, girl, you did that. You did that. And I appreciate you because I'm you in 3 hours. And I am so grateful that you went for that run because let me tell you, you feel great right now. And then the other you could come back and say, you know what? I'm so disappointed in you. I told you to go for that run. And now my energy's crap and I don't feel good. And I'm far behind in my training progress. And now I kind of feel like a failure and I kind of want to throw it all away anyway. So when you converse with future you, when you have a conversation with the you that's going to look back in that moment where you had to make the decision if you were going to follow through on that promise to yourself or not, future you is really great at grounding you and letting you know, hey, I want to be proud of you. I don't want to be disappointed. Please show up because I don't want to be upset with myself. I don't want to have to reflect back on this morning and be upset with the decision that I made in the way that I didn't uphold the promise to myself that I was going to go for the run. I don't want that to be my experience. So when you talk to future you and you get in touch with that you can say, okay, hey, I'm really struggling with this decision. I don't want to get up out of bed. 12 p.m. me, what's going through your head? Do you really want me to get up or is it okay if I skip it? And 12 p.m. you is going to go, girl, please don't skip this workout. You know it's just going to lead to a domino effect and you know you're going to be disappointed and that's not how I want to feel today because you got to go to work and then you got to pick up the kids and then you got to make dinner and all of the things. You don't want to go through your day knowing that you started it on such an unfortunate note. You don't want to know that you started your day giving up on yourself before you even had the opportunity to show up for yourself. So talk to future you and let that girl be your motivator, telling you, hey, please make the difficult decision because it's worth it for us, for me, for future you. I love talking to future me. We talk all the time. She gets me to do the things that I really, really am not in the mood to do all of the time. She's the best. Love that girl. All right? So you're going to make sure you know what you're working towards with your big, bold why written everywhere that you can see it. You're going to understand that time's going to pass anyway, so you may as well show up. And you're going to converse with future you and make sure that you are making the best decision for your overall long-term goals instead of giving into your immediate gratifications. All of this comes together when we're also going to work on practicing embracing the athletic identity. That is another thing that I want you guys to focus on because embracing the identity of being an athlete is actually going to be a huge reason why you stick to your goals. And if you're wondering why that is, it's because athletes follow through on their training. If there's one thing an athlete is reputable for doing, it's being disciplined. Think about any professional athlete. Think about any collegiate athlete. Think about any Olympian. Think about yourself in high school. You showed up to your practice. You had 5 practices a week after school, and then a game on Saturday, and you showed up every day. And hey, high school wasn't easy. You were tired, you weren't going to bed early, you were scrolling on your phone all night. You had a long day at high school, it wasn't easy, it's emotionally taxing, it's mentally taxing, it can even be physically taxing. But you still showed up and you went to all of your practices. The same goes for college, the same goes for the pros. Everybody's always going to have stuff they're dealing with in life. But what an athlete does is they don't let all of that define themselves. They decide that the disciplined action matters more to them because they're so dedicated to their training. They know they are an athlete. And what does an athlete do? An athlete shows up to practice, they do their best, they rise up in the face of challenge, and they can then execute their performance to the best of their abilities when the time comes. For them, that's games on the weekend. And for you, that's what you figured out in step 2, your measurements of what it means to be an athlete as an adult. You have things you're training for now. We already decided that. We already established that. You know what you're working towards. Be an athlete to yourself. Be an athlete to your life. Show up for yourself. Show up to your training. Show up. Be disciplined. It's for nobody else. It's not for a championship. It's not for a scholarship. It's for you. That should be more motivating than anything. You are showing up for you. You're showing up for your best interest. You're showing up for your well-being, for your health, for your emotional sanity. You're showing up because you've committed to being a lifelong athlete, which means that you've committed to this lifelong endeavor of being disciplined and of taking the actions that you told yourself that you would, because that's what an athlete does. And when you embrace that identity, when you say, yes, I am Caitlin and I am an athlete, instead of, I am Caitlin, and I used to be an athlete, and now I'm trying to train like one, and I'm kind of like one, but sometimes I fail. No. Be definitive. Stand bold in what you're declaring. You're an athlete. Go back to your training days, get inspired by professional athletes elsewhere, but you are an athlete. So act like one. Take the actions of one. When you define yourself the way that you know that you are as an athlete, then you are going to see so much more success because you are going to follow through on the things you told yourself that you would do, because it's what athletes do. It's as simple as that. It's just what athletes do. What athlete doesn't show up to practice and then has really great games? Nobody. That's not how it works. You have to earn the right. You have to earn your performance. You have to work hard for it. Luckily for you, that's how you grew up. That's already how you know you thrive. You're only here learning about being a reformed athlete because you identify so heavy with who you were growing up as an athlete and who you want to be moving forward. It's the only reason you're watching this. So if you're watching this, you know yourself. You're a damn athlete. Now act like it. Just because there's no championship on the line doesn't mean that your freaking life isn't worth showing up for with the same gusto that you did when you were trying to win your high school championship. And if you are more motivated to train for a trophy than for your general well-being and happiness as a lifelong adult, we got a problem. We got to figure that one out, girl. That's not a good thing there. You got to be committed to yourself. If you're taking disciplined actions, you're being a disciple of your own life. You are worth showing up for. You are committed. You are fully dedicated to yourself and to your mission, which is being a lifelong athlete. So take the action like one. God damn it. All right? So now you have the internal thoughts. You have the intrinsic motivation, the motivation that comes from within. You know how you're going to get yourself to persist even when you don't necessarily want to, because you're a damn athlete and you've got your motivation written everywhere and you understand that future you wants you to take certain actions. You've got the intrinsic part down. We're feeling good there. The other half of this is sometimes you can absolutely nail the intrinsic motivation and you still need some external motivation on your side. I personally understand. I can be as disciplined and motivated as I want. You still need somebody holding you accountable on the outside if you really want to see the persistence and the consistency and the progress. It's just how humans work. Sometimes we just can't show up for ourselves the way that we know we can show up when somebody else is helping to hold us accountable. So what you're going to do is 2 things. The very first thing, and this is scary and this is intimidating and you might have resistance to this, is you are going to very publicly declare that big bold words that we'd pasted up around your house. So if you're training for an April 2nd 5K, you've got to tell somebody. Maybe you text your mom, maybe your partner, maybe your best friend, maybe you plaster it on social media, make a little Facebook post, make an Instagram story. I don't know what generation you're in. You figure out what's best for you. But you're going to tell everybody, hey, I'm running a 5K on April 2nd. It can be that can be the whole tweet right there. Or you can say, hey, I'm running a race on April 2nd. Does anybody want to come to the finish line? Does anybody want to run this race with me? Because step 2 of what you're going to do for your external motivation is you're going to figure out how you can have an external accountability. Is that going to be because somebody is on this journey with you and you've created a team to do this task with you, you've created a community around it, or is it because you decided to get a coach? somebody that was going to hold you accountable to this action. Okay, so you're going to have your intrinsic motivation where you're working on your thoughts and you're working on the way that you're orienting your beliefs around being the best possible athlete that you can be. And you now have your extrinsic motivation. The world knows about this task. You can't just give up on it now. That's going to look terrible. And it's going to look terrible for yourself, mind you. And you're going to have a team with you. Somebody that goes on these runs with you. Somebody that tells you which runs to do and when. I personally am a competitive athlete and a professional coach. And I have a coach too. I need a coach. I'm somebody that thrives off of having a coach because I grew up as an athlete. You grew up as an athlete. You are somebody that thrives off having a coach too. You're somebody that loves being a part of a team. It's how you grew up. So play to your strengths. Play to the things that are going to cultivate an environment that you thrive in. There's this belief that we have to be on this journey alone once we're retired athletes because, oh, well, we know how to exercise. We've been exercising our whole lives. I am a professional. I have a literal bachelor's degree in understanding how to exercise, and I still need somebody to hold me accountable because play to your strengths. You know how to answer to a coach. You know how to work with a team. Be somebody that understands when to ask for help. Don't be so proud that you never ask for help because that doesn't get anybody anywhere. Okay? You have spent your entire X number of years since you retired from sports having these fitness goals, having things that you're working towards, and you haven't executed on them for a reason. It's because your system that you've been doing hasn't been working, and now we're going to make one that works. Not trying to be an a-hole to you, I'm just letting you know it hasn't worked before. Why are you here? Why are you learning this? Because you want something different. You want something more for yourself. And if that's the case, then you've got to take the action that is aligned with getting more for yourself. And that is going to be getting involved with a team and getting a coach on your side, having people to do this challenge with you, having people to do this training with you. It is so much better when it's not just you against the world, but you're actually getting people bought in on your journey with you. And mind you, now you get to be an inspiration in the process. Maybe you grab somebody that hasn't ran in years and you're the reason that they turn their health around. Maybe you inspire the people in your family to say, wow, look, I didn't think she was ever going to do that again, but she did it. I can do it too. So now a triple threat. You have your intrinsic motivation, you have your external motivation, and now you have this mission, this purpose that you're on because you decided to be a role model and a leader in your community. It does really get to be that great when you commit to yourself, when you make a physical strategy and align your mindset and your actions with it. Then this is when you get to cultivate an actual, real, gigantic, massive change. A momentum that inspires not just you, but everybody around you. Do you understand how incredible that is? Like how important that is? This isn't just about you. I say that all the time and scream it from the mountaintops. Your fitness journey is not just about you. It's about everybody that you love and the people that watch you and that take note of your actions, because when you take action, people take notes. People watch, people observe, and people become inspired. Because when you fully embody this athletic identity and you take the actions and you have the strategy set up and you have the plan and people see you achieving X and achieving Y and achieving Z and they're like, wow, you look better, you seem to feel better, your energy's way better, your vibe is better, they get inspired and they want to take that action too. So it's not just about you. It's about way, way, way more than just you. And it's about your relationship with yourself. It is, like I said, the triple threat, the double whammy. You get so much benefit out of committing to this process. So when you're feeling that desire to give in, when you're feeling the need that you just don't want to show up today, you're lazy, you didn't sleep well, you're tired, your kids kept you up all night, you're just exhausted, work's stressing you out, whatever it is. Whatever it is. In the face of those excuses and of those challenges and of those hurdles and those roadblocks, can you fully embrace that athletic identity to step up to the plate, overcome whatever these limiting beliefs or excuses are, and show up anyway? Are you committed enough to being a leader and a person of impact in your community, in your family? Are you that person enough to overcome the reasons that you don't want to follow through, to overcome the fear of being a failure, to overcome the anxiety that comes with these new daunting tasks? Are you able to overcome all of that to be a person of change in your community? Because it is really that deep. And when you understand that, you are never going to skip a workout again just because you're lazy or because you're not feeling good. If you're injured, if you're legitimately sick, it's different. But if you're just not in the mood, if you're just a little tired, if your bed's just a little too warm and it's like 20 degrees outside and you're like, honestly, hell no. Are you able to overcome that to be a person of impact in your community? And then I'm going to leave you with this, because this needs to be said and declared very clearly. If you went into this creating these goals, these athletic goals that are going to challenge you and push you, if you came into this journey thinking that there wasn't going to be struggle as a part of your experience, my friends, that is on you. That's on you. Why did you ever think that this was going to happen without adversity? Why did you think this workout was going to be easy and you were going to get stronger? That's not how that works. We actually specifically have to push your muscles to the point where they create little micro tears. They're very uncomfortable. That's the only way your muscles are going to grow back stronger. It's the same thing with your actions. Why did you think you were going to grow into a bigger, better version of yourself if you're not being challenged and struggling along the way? Nobody has ever become a better version of themselves because the path was so easy and there was no resistance and there was no roadblocks and you didn't have to learn anything. That's just staying the same. You're not learning anything. You're not overcoming anything. You're not failing, learning, and overcoming in the future. There's going to be struggle. It's written in the contract of becoming a better person, of getting to your goals. There is no growing towards goals without challenge on the way. If there wasn't, you would already be there. There's a reason you've had resistance. There's a reason you haven't been able to follow through on this up until now. It's because there's going to be resistance. And when you go in with the mentality that this resistance is going to create blocks, it's going to create barriers, and you're going to embrace it when it comes to you because you know on the other side of that is the change that you've been looking for. When you agree to that contract with your higher self, the one that said, hey, you're going to have to struggle, but you're going to get on the other side and be like, damn, that was worth it. I'm so proud I persisted through that. When you can agree to that contract, that's when you can actually be prepared mentally for the journey that you have ahead. Embrace struggle when it comes up. Embrace resistance when it comes up. Embrace challenge when it comes up. Rise up in the face of challenge and in the face of adversity. Overcome it and become the person on the other side of that challenge that you know what you're capable of, but you just need a little push to get there. That's why you want the coach. That's why you want the team. That's why you want to orient all of those internal thoughts around being somebody that is ready to embrace challenge and embrace discomfort, because God doesn't make a difference. If you think it's supposed to be easy, that's your own fault for not preparing properly. You guys have heard it a million times. We don't rise to the level of our expectations. We fall to the level of our preparation. And if you prepare knowing there's going to be resistance and embracing it when it comes, if that's your mentality, you're going to reach the other side and you're going to be damn proud of who you become. And if you don't expect that and you think it's going to be easy and you freak out when there's resistance, then you're never going to get to the other side of this challenge. And that's why you've quit your workout programs in the past, because it got uncomfortable, you thought you were a failure, you threw it all away. We aren't doing that anymore. We are athletes, we are disciples of our goals, we are disciplined in our action, and we are going to see the year of the athlete, 2025. We are going to see the version of ourselves that we've been desperately seeking ever since we retired from sport, because we got our mind oriented around the right way to get through this, and we made a strategy, we made a game plan. And that's just day 1 and 2 of this 10-day series. That's crazy, because I have 8 more days to kick off season 2 of The Reformed Athlete. So if you guys loved this episode, please like it, please subscribe. It means the world to me. Rate a review, leave a comment. All of this helps so much in growing this platform. I'm really working on making 2025 the year of the athlete. I want to impact as many athletes as humanly possible, because this message needs to get out there, and I ain't gonna shut up till we get it done. So guys, please share this episode with your community. It means the world to me that you're here. I'm so excited to release day 3 tomorrow, and I will see you guys for the next 10 days in a row, because we have our 10-day series. Thank you for being here, and I will talk to you soon.